Jason and Jabari. Jason and Jabari.
Guys, this is Jason from the Jason and Jabari Gaming, and today I am here with Truth Comics and AFO, and we have actually created the actual non-meta list. That is right. You guys will see that live. We have all the champions and we have them classed, and we will be discussing who is meta, who's non-meta, who's borderline, who's acceptable, the whole works. So prepare yourselves from that. And then at the end, we are going to create myself a non-meta battlegrounds deck. And we do have people that are participating along in this challenge. So if that's one of the people that you want to be, take a look at this list and take notes. And then, yeah, man, let us know how you do. So without further ado, I'm going to change my screen over to the actual spreadsheet that we have on Google Docs. And then I'm going to let Truth Comics, who put in the most work for this, explain everything to you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us here. It was great to see the response that we saw when we did this last season of the people who were, pushing back or asking questions, or really just a couple handfuls that wanted to participate in doing the same thing. We're trying to make BGs semi-palatable again, since it's just, we're in the current era of kabam phases. But we decided to formalize it a little bit. And so we built this spreadsheet, decided to not just look at Jay Will's deck, but to pull something together to a tool that could be used by everybody and give you some guidelines on, what is and is not an acceptable meta champion. And so it's a fairly straightforward layout. The meta is what it is, right? That's what we talked about. It's the most effective tactics available. A yes means that a champion is obviously meta. A no means that they're obviously not meta. And a borderline means they're on the fence. Now, if a champion is meta, that means they're not acceptable for the deck. And you can see that that's the acceptable column we have here. A champion that is not meta is obviously acceptable for the deck. So that allows you to put them in. And then for the borderlines, we wanted that extra nuance, right? There are some champions that are right there on the fence that are a borderline meta champion, but we had to make sure they couldn't go into the deck because they're just a little too close to that meta champion level. And there are others who are right on that borderline. Maybe they're rising or they're falling, but they're not quite good enough for us to say, no, you definitely can't put that champion in your deck. And so we added that extra little bit of nuance. Also, just wanted to throw in here the Ascension, because that is going to be altering some things as it comes up. We wanted this document to be kind of living, so I added all the newest champions, Blue Marvel, etc. And yeah, I know Jay's going to go in. We're going to be looking at his rank ups and his rank fours and helping him build a deck. But you don't have to utilize, hey, rank fours or rank threes or whatever. This is not intended to have anything to do with rank. It has everything intended to do with how do we view this champion, and very much note that it's how do we
Right.
view this champion and how they are in BGs. So yeah, that's what we got together here for the people. We've got it broken down by class, so you all can go through. This is how I build my decks. I build my deck by class, and then once I get it done, I go back for a second look and go, okay, who should be in, who should be out, who do I want to tweak? But I figured this was just the easiest way to look at things, so that's how we laid it out.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. So, um, if you want to take a minute, because I'm not sure if AFO is all set up yet, he might be. If you want to tell anybody the changes that we did from the last list that we created, do we have
Mhm.
like that in a short form, or are we able to filter that
I
out or
didn't
something?
quite
Or
lay that out short form, no, but
okay,
here's what I can do. I can know as we go, because obviously, we've been handling this data. We've been getting into the weeds for you guys. We're doing this for you.
yes,
We're doing this for fun. We're doing
yes.
this work because Kabam won't.
Yes, guys. And trust me,
Um,
this has been like a week-long process, guys, and I'm not exaggerating. We have been in multiple discussions. We've been working late nights trying to get you guys all this information. And again, Truth has put in the most work, hands down. But don't don't get it misconstrued, because Afo and myself have definitely been getting in the gutters as well, trying to
oh,
help create something
absolutely.
for you guys. So,
Yeah, so there is at least a few changes that I can recall off the top of my head that we made. The first one was high evolutionary.
Okay.
We considered him borderline last time. Obviously, we didn't have that subset of nuance of acceptable or not, but we had figured, yeah, he's obviously very prevalent, but it's important to note that meta and popular are not the same thing. Like, it doesn't matter how often you see a champion, it matters if they're the most effective tactics available. And so we noted that even though he was very popular and very prevalent, there was a lot of feedback that he was not a particularly good defender and that he, basically was just kind of there. And after last meta and talking through it some more, we decided to go ahead and remove him from the acceptable champions list. So I guess that's our way of saying that High Evo is on a little bit of a rise right now. He's moved from the bottom part of borderline to the upper part of borderline. We'll see how the upcoming skill champions and how the metas do for him. But at this moment in time, High Evo is no longer allowed in the meta deck. Another champion that had a change last time, and I know this one there was a lot of pushback on from the skill class, was Lumitrix. We had Lumitrix in knowing that he was very powerful, but well, kind of twofold. One, he's not very prevalent. So to the whole delineation between meta and popularity, we kind of took that popularity factor and said, okay, he's not very popular. But also, we basically wanted to force Jay Will to play with him. So there was that factor of things. But now that this has spread beyond Jay Will, and we need to create a more objective list that isn't just us messing with Jay, we decided to take Lumitrix out of the acceptable champions list.
Okay.
One other champion that we also removed from the list, and this was the one that probably gave us the most outcry from the
Yeah.
Mystic class,
Yep.
was Kindred. A lot of people were pretty upset about Kindred being considered non-meta. And I just want to note, I can understand where people are coming from. I think that, 6 or 7 months ago, if you had come and said, "Okay, Kindred, a tough meta defender," people would have generally said, "No, he's not that hard." But that has changed, and he has, his AI has been on one, especially as of late, throwing that heavy. But also, one other factor that I had in consideration when we were doing the J Will list that has changed is that I know J Will is a fellow offensive Kindred enjoyer.
That is
And
true.
so I knew that J Will was going to be grabbing that Kindred and potentially using him for attack. But now that we are making this list more objective and again broadening to the rest of the community, we decided to go ahead and take Kindred and pull him out. As we all know, he's probably the best Mystic defender today. I mean, you can have an argument for Nico, but Kindred is probably still a little bit better than Nico as a defender, even though she brings the offensive stuff in. So
Yeah.
those were the few notable changes that we made from last time. There were a couple of other conversations that were had. We definitely had a solid amount of conversation, and you'll see when you get into the tech class where tech had the most amount of borderline champions. I
Mhm.
think that we've seen that before because we know that many of the other classes are more top heavy than tech is, but tech has a large swath of good champions. And so there was a whole bunch of champs that were marked as borderline, and the one that was a big question mark was Zola. We nixed Zola last time, and we held that. We maintained not letting Zola in because he is still on the upper end of borderline as it comes to being a meta defender. But more and more, we know that he's going down the list. People are getting better at fighting him. The emergence of Carolina and what she does and her flexibility. She does take him obviously very, very well. And so at this moment in time, we'll see how he does. He's sticking. We had a similar conversation around Nimrod, and he fell in the same way he did last time. There was a lot of negotiation and debate of where does he fall? Should he be into acceptable or not? And we did decide that until we see something different, until we see him actually cooking some things throughout BGs, that he is, while borderline, is going to be acceptable to go into people's decks. So we, to Jay's point, spent a good amount of time putting this list together and then really trying to talk through the nuances, as this is not a super gray, or sorry, not a super black and white thing when you get into some of these borderline champs. We spent a fair amount of time talking through it and trying to keep the same perspective and be as non-biased as possible as we were applying these tags to these champions.
And guys, we're not perfect individuals. We do try to be as unbiased as we are able to, but the reality is everybody has a bias to a certain degree. If you disagree with us, please let us know, and we will, as we have proven, take that into consideration moving forward. This list is not a permanent list. It's a list that will be changed based off of the champions and how well they're performing in various metas over time, right? So just bear that in mind. But we do try to be very, very fair, which is why there's more than one of us, obviously. And it's not an echo chamber as much as you guys might want to believe that. We do actually have opposing ideas of various champions, and during these discussions we bring that up, and we come to some. I mean, what, 3 or 4 champions just today came down to a vote? Am I mistaken about that, or right?
No, that's about right. Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely had a little bit of democracy going on before I started telling everyone how wrong they are.
Yeah. So understand, guys, we are our own individuals with our own thought processes, and sometimes we do align more often than not, but that's not the case for every champion. And we will discuss that like adults and be respectful of each other's opinions. But sometimes we will just have to take an L on a champion that we thought maybe was acceptable or not acceptable, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. But if you guys do agree or disagree with a specific champion, let us know in the comment section. We'd love to discuss. Just make sure you say why. And what we don't try to do, guys, is we don't try to base these champions based off of like the last meta. That's not
Mhm.
something that's very sustainable or realistic, because you can have a champion that can cook because it's what was that, power shield, and in
Mhm.
reality during a normal meta they're not going to be even be close to being a good champion when it comes to those 52k scores you guys love to see, right? So we
Yeah,
try
yeah,
to do
agreed.
this
Yeah.
we try to do this more so over a good bit of time, and who we're consistently seeing show up, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
welcome in, Apple.
Just remember, keep in mind. Yeah, welcome. Hey guys. Yeah, just remember, we keep in mind there were champs last meta that couldn't even gain power, right? That are really great champions.
Yeah.
So I
Mhm.
mean, the metas will ebb and flow. Um, and so right now, Mystic champions are going wild in the VT, right? But
Mhm.
some of those Mystic champions may be less effective. So if we follow the meta, we'll forever be chasing, an unreachable target. So that's what we have to do.
Okay. So, if you guys want to start off with the science and work our way over, we can really quick go over briefly what we did, who we decided to be in or out real quick, and just kind of go from there, and then we can make the deck because I know you guys have lives.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna hit in the filters here because it just becomes easier to see that.
Okay, excellent.
The easy way to do this is these will be your question marks or your people that don't make it in. If they're not in this group of champions right here, you can put them in your deck. You don't even have to ask the question. So your obvious meta champions that are not acceptable for your decks are Human Torch, Photon, Rhino, Scorpion, and Spider Woman. I think that's a very straightforward 5 out of Science champs. You see them in all sorts of decks all over the place. Rhino is obviously a new addition. That's why we had it for discussion. And it just came down to the reality that he is kind of a tank. He's kind of a pain in the butt, and he requires a specific counter. And now that we have come out of nuke metas, I think the reality is you either need to be prepared for Rhino or you need to ban Rhino. So keep that in mind. And then we had the handful of borderline champions between High Evolutionary, Jessica Jones, Modoc, Red Guardian, Silk, and Thing. And we decided that High Evolutionary was not going to be acceptable. Red Guardian was not going to be acceptable. Silk was not going to be acceptable, and Thing were not going to be acceptable as champions that could go in your deck. Each one for various reasons. Again, if you want to know any of the specifics, you can hit us with the comments, or again, come and tell me how wrong I am, and I'll tell you why that's not the case. But the two we did decide to allow in were Jessica Jones and Modoc, and that was because they do have a fair amount of counters. They're not particularly common, so you don't see them a ton, and they have mechanics or ways to work around what they have going on, especially Modoc, right? In this current meta, if you hit him with the parry heavy, you're going to take his steadfast down. You're going to beat him down. You're going to bait special ones, and just make sure you don't make a mistake. And Jessica Jones has quite a few champions that just take her down and nuke her pretty quickly. So those were the meta and questionable champs. And outside of that, go have fun. There's plenty of stuff that's still on the board. I know we're gonna build Jay's deck, and he's got a ton of rank 4 champions that he enjoys playing. But all in all, there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah. So guys, if your champion was not on the no list, which he filtered for all science champions, again, we have every single champion on these lists, every single last one of them. So you don't have to question, well, what about this champion? That champion will be acceptable. And again, he just went back to long form. So you can see the champion that you're probably asking about is just in alphabetical order, guys. Okay. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Can I ask a question for the people here, Jay? Will?
yeah, go ahead.
So if someone was using this sheet, could they just clear all the filters, go to the acceptable column, excuse me, and just hit yes and get all the champs that are available for their deck? Is that how it
Absolutely.
works?
That's
Yes.
Yeah.
how
Good.
That's
that
Good.
was
exactly how it
the
works, sir.
intended design behind it. Yes, sir.
And
Perfect.
we will try to get you guys this list if you want. I'll put it in the description in case you guys are looking for it or something like that. Or you can just hit up Truth Comics and he'll make sure he'll get it for you, which I will leave a link to not only his channel but Afo's channel like I always try to do. But yeah, that's an excellent point. Thank you for pointing that out, Alpha. That's the short version of how you guys can get the information that you're looking for very quickly, right? So
Cool.
more of an
Perfect.
optimization of your time. So
Mhm.
moving on to skill here. Let's see what we got for skill, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot click. There we go. There it is. Okay.
All right, we'll go through the same exercise here. Taking a look at the champs that are either meta or borderline. There was some contention over this top meta contender here, Black Panther Civil War. But in the end, we all know it was Wakanda Forever. You don't ever question the king. You all know what he does in BGs. He's a meta champion. Will he be my first rank 5 ascended champion? I guess we'll have to find out. I don't know yet. Some more obvious ones in here. Crossbones, obviously a meta champion. We did put Kingpin in here. There was some dispute about that, but I would say dispute from people who are very heavily biased. I think Kingpin's pretty obviously a meta champ. Nick Fury, Okoye, Punisher's a recent addition since the last time we did this, but any of you who've been out there fighting him can know what a difficult champion he can be. And similar to Rhino, now that we're out of nuke metas, you need to be prepared for Punisher or you are not going to have a good time.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the quintessential skill defender currently, Yelena Belova, an obvious meta champion. But then we had some borderlines. Borderline number 1 was Baron Zemo. We did decide that he was acceptable to go into the deck. I'm not going to go any further down that road because all the Zemo fans will come yelling at me and telling me all the things because I don't have a lot of good things to say about that champion. But fair enough.
What's that note say in the
Bullseye.
corner? What's that note say in the corner?
Yeah, you can read that for me. Something about
Kabam forcing it.
getting that champion. Yeah, I wonder how he made the Ascension pool. Wonder how he made it. Every time I listen to KT, you just say Zemogate was real. I don't dispute it. I'm not going to dispute that at all. Bullseye. Bullseye has come down to a borderline champion. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy in the current era to say that, but I mean, those of you who play BGs, especially as you climb into the higher ranks, you've seen the decline of Bullseye, but especially running at rank 4 high sig, he still can very much be a defender that you need to have a counter for. And so with that said, there are plenty of counters out there, but he is still enough of a meta champion that we're not allowing him in the meta contest for the deck. Lumitrix, we talked about earlier. He was the flip-flop from last time. He's not going to be allowed into the meta decks now. Mantis, we were on the fence about. Just going back and forth, but I think between her prevalence and some of the newer defenders, there's a question mark to see how she'll do. So we're not sure if she's going to hold. And then Stealth Suit Spider-Man, I mean, we decided not to allow him. If he takes it, he cooks it in 40 seconds or less. And so we just can't be having that running around BGs. You guys know how that goes. That's just too much, especially since he was a champion we could all get for free.
Yeah. Preach.
Okay. So that sums that up. So we can move over to Mutant unless there was anything else you guys wanted to say as far as skill was concerned.
Nothing from you.
Yeah, I mean, there is a champ there that is on TBD. That's M'Baku. Any big M'Baku fans there? I think that if Jay Will decides to go for M'Baku and rank him to rank 4, he should be allowed to put him in the deck.
Yeah, I don't have much information myself on M'Baku, guys. So he's just going to be determined. As stated, we really didn't do too much, discussion
Mhm.
on that champion because he's so new. So we'll just have
Yeah.
to see how he does, how he performs, and over the test of time, then we'll come to an actual definitive answer. So whether you have that champion in your deck or not, it shouldn't hold any weight against you or for you. It's just a champion in the deck, which is fine. So
Yep. Yep.
okay.
Completely agree. That actually it's a good before we transition to mutant, because this did come up with someone else who's joining this competition, and it was a question.
Yes.
If the champion is TBD, it is because they're too new for us to really give a definitive yes or no, and we don't want to put them at borderline either because they're too new. But that's where you get to be a part of giving us some more feedback, because someone I know is going to be putting Blue Marvel into their deck. And if they're TBD, rank them up, put them in your deck. Let us know how they do. We don't have enough data, so therefore, the more data we can get, the more quickly we'll be able to say, hey, yes, this champion is meta and needs to be pulled out. Or, nope, this champion is fine. You can make them work, but you can continue to use them in the non meta deck.
Works for me. All right, gentlemen, we can go over to Mutant, which I believe is the next tab over. And we have a TBD there as well, actually. And that is Kitty Pride. So we don't have a lot of data on her yet. I know back in the day, a lot of people used to use her a lot more, but we need the data on her to give you guys a solid answer. So kind of like Truth said, if you guys are running her in your Battlegrounds deck, how is she performing? What is she doing? What are the scores? Send us some screenshots, all that stuff. So therefore, we can help make this a more permanent assessment for her.
Well said, sir. And there's our filtering. Again, he's one of those classes that has a clear delineation. We had Captain Britain as a meta champion, Deadpool X-Force, Jean Grey, Sinister, and Onslaught. I mean, the big five, most of us run these champions. You know what you use them for. You know what they do, and you knew why they couldn't be in a non-meta deck. But then we had some borderliners. We had Cassandra Nova, Domino, Dust, Gentle, and Havoc. And with Cassandra, we decided that she's powerful enough and is getting close enough to the meta that she should not be acceptable in a non-meta BG's deck. Same for Domino. I mean, tried and true. You know what she does. There have been some metas more recently where she's kind of come back to the forefront. She was out for a while, and now she's coming back in. But she's been around long enough, requires a specific enough counter, and can cause enough pain that we decided that she should not be allowed in the non-meta deck. But then the other three, fell into basically a tier below. Dust is on that other side of that borderline coin. She's primarily a defender. She has some attack capability, but just doesn't quite force the pain and suffering that Domino does, and thus we allowed her into the non-meta deck. And then Gentle and Havoc, very kind of similar, mainly defensive leaning champs, but can also have a good amount of attack and decent amount of counters. They do good stuff for you. I personally have a rank 4 Sig 200 Gentle. He does a ton of work for me, but I can't say that he's a meta champ. And so we decided to go ahead and allow him to go. And so all you big Gentle users or any of the rest of these champs, enjoy him. See what you can do with him. Show us some cooks.
Okay. So now that we're done with the mutant aspect of things, we'll move right along to the cosmic class. A very powerful class. Very powerful class.
It is very powerful, fairly top heavy, but there was a fair amount of borderline champs in here too. So again, we have the big five. No Dark Phoenix, no Hulkling, no Carolina, no Deathless Thanos, and no Serpent. We all know them. We all fight them. We all fight with them. You all know they're busted. Don't be coming at me and telling me about how Hulkling's not a meta champion. He wasn't allowed before he was fixed. Now that he's fixed, I can assure you, you're not using Hulkling. It's not going to be a thing. Um, Now we did have a little shift here, and I didn't note it earlier because in the first time we did this, we had Cole marked as a meta champ and just not allowed, and he's still not allowed. But I personally made the argument that I think Cole is shifting a little bit down on the meta side, and it's not necessarily completely agreed among the three of us, but they allowed me to continue to keep him in borderline. Um, I've been finding him easier and easier to draft around, and him not taking some of the newer defenders very well. So, unfortunately for all of you, rank 4 SIG 200 Cole people, you don't get to use him. But hey, if he keeps slipping, maybe you'll get to use him here in the next few months. This is a change that we had from the first run through. We applied a similar logic to Gallon. We did allow
Yes.
Jay Will to use Gallon the first time through. But again, as we were moving this to a broader audience and having to be more objective beyond just us having fun the first time, he takes so much so well that we decided that Gallon had to go to the not acceptable side of the borderline. But we have three powerful champs that, while they're borderline, were allowed to stay and to still be maintainable in your non-meta BG decks. We've got Null. I think we said that he's a good attacker, he's a good defender, he's not busted on either, and he's just not good enough to be good enough for your non-meta BG's deck. Same with Medusa and the same with Venom. I think they all have various strengths and weaknesses, but they're not so widespread. Their matchup spread's not so wide. They're not so overpowered that they were reasonable enough to allow into the non-meta BG's deck.
Okay. Sounds perfect. Yeah, we did have a bit of a discussion, guys, that we talked about Call Obsidian. Which, yeah, I mean, if that pattern continues, then that is grounds for potential of making him more acceptable. And that just goes back to what I did tell you guys. Like, we are not like an echo chamber. We definitely have discussions. And sometimes we just have to take a vote, and that's just kind of how it goes, which is fine. That is life. So, we can move on to the tech aspect of things, because I think this was arguably the most borderline champions that we had out of all the classes,
It
if I'm
was.
not mistaken.
It was. No,
Okay.
you're absolutely accurate. I'm going to include the TBD in just so we can lump all that together because we do
Okay.
have some new champs in here.
Yes.
But yeah, this was, again, we've seen this throughout when you go through people's rankings videos and you listen to some of the higher end BG's players play. It's noted that there's a large amount of good to great champions in the tech class, but there aren't really a ton of super broken champions in the tech class. This is not like the cosmic big five. And so you kind of have to take a step back from, okay, these champs are clearly busted. Now, what do we do with the rest of it? And there's a lot more nuance that we have in this class. And so we did have a handful of what we considered meta champions, and there was one late breaking change, which is the first one. Future Ant-Man is a meta champion, therefore not acceptable. Jack-o'-lantern, of course. Sentinel, who I believe is the best tech champion personally, but there are people who would argue that because they would say that Solvark is actually the best tech champion, which I think is
Wow. If we went
wild
back
Mhm.
6
nonsense.
months, guys, if we went back 6 months, could Truth have a conversation with Truth about Sentinel? I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
conversation is
know.
the
I'm
one that
just
I
saying.
have about Solvark, where I remind everyone that he's still an awful attacker. But that's another conversation for another time. Tilapia, don't come after me, bro. Show me the video. I'm waiting to see it.
Oh.
We have Solvark, Starkey, of course, who's like the quintessential versatile BG's nuke.
Uh-huh.
And we are maintaining that Yondu is indeed a meta champion. Ton of damage, ton of versatility in his ruptures. Puppy, don't come at us. He's a meta champion.
Also, no Maker
But
Nation, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to think I had something
yeah,
to do with that, just a little bit.
I would say that you had everything to do with that. That's as we're going into the borderlines. We'll work our way up from the bottom on the borderline. So we have a borderline Viv Vision. We did determine that she is allowable in the deck. Um, she's got a decent amount of versatility. You're not going to find a ton of Vivs. People who know what they're doing. If you see a rank 4 SIG 200, you better keep your eyeballs peeled. but decided that she was acceptable. However, to Jay Will's point, he was the main proponent, along with some other people in the conversation that I don't necessarily agree with, but hey, it's a democracy. The maker is considered meta enough that you cannot put him in your non-meta BG's deck. I don't love it. I'd push back on it, but
He
I do know
did.
that he's
He
very
did, guys.
versatile and can do a lot of stuff. So, whatever, I'll let it slide. Another champ that was not allowed in the decks, a very powerful champion, even though he's been, held back a little bit by the recent damage limiting champs. And, it's just the pervasiveness of Cap Britain makes it tough, but that's Shocker. Still very powerful, still does a lot of work. He is not allowed in the deck. Powerful defender, powerful attacker. That same logic applied to Red Skull. He is definitely on the decline. He's not, he's been falling a little bit out of favor. He's probably, he's as close as on the fence as we get on a lot of these champs. Probably could have been a coin flip either way, yes or no. But we ultimately decided not to allow him into the decks. But we had a nice little stretch there with Prowler. We're going to let him in. That way you at least have some semblance of a Captain Britain counter if you can't ban everything. And he's fallen out of quite a bit of favor from a battleground standpoint. Very, very powerful war attacker. But, he's fallen a little bit out of favor. So it's a good chance to break out the Prowlers and show people what he can do. Penny Parker, again, a good defender, good attacker, not great at either. Not meta, not so meta that we said that she can't use her. You can use your pennies in there and have a good time. And then we mentioned Nimrod, right? He maintained his place as on the borderline. We're still waiting to see if he can do anything. But for right now, you can keep him in your decks and let us know how he does. But then Bastion, I think we allowed him last time. I don't think that you had a ranked up Bastion, but we weren't having Bastion conversations.
No, we weren't.
This was one of those coin flip on the fence ones because it's tough to say, Bastion's so meta in BGs that he shouldn't be allowed. But at the same time, and we're not just looking at the recent bias of Arms Race and Power Shield, people have obviously been learning how to use Bastion in BGs. And I've also seen quite a few cooks this meta, which is not favorable to him for any way, shape, or form, where he's still coming out at 50K plus. And he's got a broad matchup range, and not a lot of stuff is immune to what he does. So no goes for you big Bastions. Enjoy leaving him on the bench. And then, of course, we discussed Zola earlier. So he's just too powerful of a defender, too niche. And, he's got more attack capability than most people want to acknowledge. So this was definitely the broadest who's in, who's out, how many borderlines, how do we want to apply it. We did have a couple TBDs. First one being J. Jonah Jameson. I have not heard good things about him in Battlegrounds, but I also have seen almost no gameplay. So we're going to need him to get into the Titan, get more people to rank him up and see what he can actually do. And then, of course, OG Star-Lord. Now, I know people are going to be saying, no, he's not. No, he's not. But I'm telling you right now, if you match me and you see me pick up that OG Star-Lord, you better watch yourself. So I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
You better watch yourself. Mm-hmm.
He's going to get to that 400 hit combo, guys, before the 2-minute elapses. Trust me.
Afo's got a couple of screenshots in his inbox of me doing some high 40Ks versus, Jean Grey and Nick Fury. I think OG Star-Lord is going to pleasantly surprise some people if you actually want to play him and go use him to have some fun.
I think we're going to have spoilers when we get to my rank 4s. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Moving on to the Mystic class, I just want to show them the full list of that real quick, which again, we will try to get you guys this list. So in case you don't want to sit here and scroll through, I know I get it with the videos and long form content. So I understand, but we are going to try to provide this list to you guys and make it accessible. All right. Moving on to the Mystic class. Here we are. The final class of the 6 before we make this deck. I'm kind of nervous. Everything you guys have had me rank up, you're starting to say is not acceptable.
Well, that's what we try to do. We try to get you to burn some resources so we could take them away.
That is true.
Kabam's been teaching us well. We're picking up the methods from them. So a solid list here. Yeah, we definitely had a good list of meta champions. I think that you guys know a lot of these. Obviously Juggernaut. I think Juggernaut's always going to be meta. It just is what it is. He's definitely one of those champions that unless the meta stops him, he's gonna cook pretty hard, and that hasn't changed at all. We talked about Kindred earlier and the change that we made there, shifting away from, kind of J Will specific and using him on attack to a broader view, and he's obviously, one of the top 2 Mystic defenders, if not the best at this moment in time. Kushala, I mean, anyone who knows Kushala that isn't just a pure hater understands the power of Kushala. Nico is Nico. Shathra, we determined was meta, but you can see over there in the notes, will it hold? I think Shathra has been kind of removed a little bit due to metas as of late. I think we also, with the rise of Nico and kind of the rise of some more specific targeted champions, the versatility of someone like Shathra has kind of been set by the wayside for the moment. But we'll see how she falls and where that actually lands. I think that, anytime the new shiny thing comes out, the Nico, the Paviter, people go, "Oh, I got this new shiny toy," and the Shothra doesn't work for 2 or 3 metas that well, and they put her on the bench. But, in 2 months from now, even this month, right, as we go into the Mystic meta, I think people are gonna be banning a lot of those high-end Mystics that we see, and I think you're gonna see some more Shothras coming back out to play, and we'll be reminded that she is probably the most versatile Mystic champion. And then, of course, Paviter. Paviter is also a meta champion. I mean, he takes the big heavy hitters. He fights well out of class wheel, and so we had to take him out. And of course, yours truly's favorite. They'll never let me have her, and
No.
even if they did, J Will would ban her.
Oh yeah, I would.
Sweet, sweet Tigra.
She's got to go.
Meta champ through and through. We all know how powerful Tigra is, so it had to be done.
You guys can thank FinTech for ruining my Tiger experiences. Just, I still wake up in a cold sweat sometimes from what he did to my champions with her.
Yeah. Yeah, and 2 champions that Tigra takes well. Let's hit the first of our borderlines, Enchantress. Enchantress is on one of those Sasquatch-like falls from grace as a defender. Maybe closer to Bullseye, but she's definitely fallen farther than he has. Unless the meta really, really amplifies her, so some sort of power gain or something like Invade, she's not a particularly difficult defender anymore. And so even though she's borderline, we're still considering her near the meta. She's not good enough to be held out. And so you can put your Enchantresses in your deck and go have some fun. Along those lines, I think a champ that's, I don't know if he's on the rise, but he's been kind of steady. He's always there. Sassy 2.0, I think, as Jay Will said, but he definitely is, he's more of a meat shield. He's got a similar health pool. He's less straightforward to fight than Sasquatch, so I think that's why he's maintained some of his presence in the game. But he's also, offensively useful. He's got that. I'm pretty sure it's 200% neutralize. It might be 300%.
Yes, it's 200%. That's correct.
He's got a big neutralize, so that way, he gets past Serpent's death immunity and all the protection stuff. And
Falcon don't care about it. Just get locked on.
you're making a good argument for us to go back to skill and turn him into a meta champion.
Oh,
Maybe
never
we should
mind.
do
I'm gonna
that.
be
Yeah,
quiet. I'm gonna be quiet.
Yep.
I'm gonna
Borderline.
be quiet. Never mind.
He's borderline to me. But enjoy your interest. Go have some fun, especially this meta. He's very good this meta. Most of these mystics are. This was a change, actually. This was a change from last time, and we backed off of it a little bit, and that's Spiral. Last time we did this, we told J Will no go on Spiral. What Spiral is built to do, she does at the top tier of the game, and so therefore that makes her the most effective tactics available. And so I think we just bordered slightly onto the other side of that fence. And so we decided, okay, how do we want to approach this? What do we want to do with it? And decided that we would let Spiral fly and just keep an eyeball on it. Take feedback, see how she does. I see sometimes where people cook very well with Spiral. I see other times where they don't do so well with Spiral. So until we see some more consistent performance, I also think that her ascension and the upcoming rank 5s and all that could make a difference if we start seeing her, getting ascended and doing a lot of punching down. We may get to a point where it turns out that she actually needs to go back to the non-acceptable list. But we did have 2 champs, one of which kind of hurt my soul to see on this the no side of the list, and that's the Hood. I've recently ranked up my Hood here in the last few months, and he is versatile enough to be borderline meta. and he's versatile enough to be not allowed in your non-meta decks. His real weakness is that he doesn't do Serpent well, but he goes so far outside of so many class wheels and is so much more powerful than people realize. Like, for instance, earlier today, I did a Kindred in about 25 seconds because I just failed Death Immunity and all the things, cycling a couple special twos. He's got that ability accuracy reduction. So very powerful, not acceptable. And same with Werewolf. And this is where he fell last time. So this has nothing to do with any recency of Power Shield or anything like that. Werewolf is an extremely versatile attacker that can gain power and do damage with minimal hits. And as such, we just couldn't allow him to be running rampant and giving Jay Will or any of you who want to participate too many offensive answers with Werewolf by Night. We couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well,
Okay.
a
Awesome.
quick run through of our TBDs. Absorbing Man. We haven't really seen enough data on him. I've seen him a little bit. This is not going to be a great meta for measuring how Absorbing Man is actually going to do because he's in the Mystic Amplified meta, and so he's very boosted. But I'm curious to see where he actually falls when he's not being boosted and when it's real fights. So give us the data. We'll see how he falls. Black Widow Clairvoyant. You can see she's under to be determined, but also no, because we know that she's not going to be a BG's champion, and I could just say that. But I wanted to put TBD because she's new, and I don't want all of the Claire haters coming to me telling me about no, but see, this is how she really does. She can totally 46k this champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
He said 46.
Doctor Strange is on the TBD list. I'm getting good vibes from him. I've seen some pretty cool stuff, but he's just not widespread enough for us at this time to say that
Yeah.
he is or is not going to be able
That's
to be
true.
in the meta. And so we'll love to see that feedback. And of course, an upcoming champion that I know many of us are waiting with bated breath for. We're waiting to see what that kit looks like. Magic's on the list. Will she be meta? I have no idea. I hope they keep some shades of the old kit, but
Yeah, I'm hoping
you never
so.
know with Kabam.
With
You
the
never know.
limbo more specifically. Yeah. Yeah.
Some
So
limbo, maybe some power steal without power lock. I don't know. I think there are ways to do it where it's acceptable in the game, but yeah, there's a reason she can't come in today's game as a 7-star or even a 6-star. To be honest, 6-star Magic would be very, very powerful.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. All
so
right.
that, ladies and gentlemen, is the lists.
That's
We
our
went
list,
through.
guys.
We'll keep it updated as new champs come into the game. And again, everyone's just going to come in at TBD. So that's where we're looking to you to provide us that feedback and show us how those champions do.
Right. So now is the fun part, guys. Now is the part that we get to create my Battlegrounds deck for the upcoming Victory Track meta. I did provide Truth and AFO both with screenshots of my 83 rank 4s right now. We have 83 rank 4s, which is a decent amount of rank 4s. And again, guys, I can't stress this enough. You do not have to have a rank 4 to apply that inside of your own non-meta deck. You just have to have the champion. It doesn't matter if they're a rank 1, okay? Rank has nothing to do with it. That's just a personal preference, and I don't want you guys to get caught up on that aspect of things because it doesn't matter. What matters are the champions that are acceptable and the champions that are not, right? That's the only thing that matters. So last time we had a formula, we allowed AFO and Truth to pick, I think the math added up to, they both did 2 rounds each, and then I did a singular round, and that equaled a sum of 30. However, the champion deck has changed from 30 to 40. And 3, last time I checked, does not go into 40 evenly. Now, I know they're changing math daily in the schools and all that stuff, but last time I checked, I'm a little old, so maybe you guys can correct me, but I still don't think that we can get an even amount of picks amongst you two and myself, but we'll do our best. So, yeah. I'm going to go over to non-meta victory track here. I'm
We
sorry.
can't, however, get like a 2/3 and 1/3 thing going.
Yeah,
So we could do where Truth and I get to a total of 30 and you get to a total of 10. And so it would be like we could
yeah,
do some math like that and maybe
yeah.
make it work. We'll see
Absolutely.
how it
Yeah.
goes.
No, you both can choose 15 each, and I can choose 10 or however you guys want to do that. It doesn't bother me at all. You guys know I'm here to have a good time, and honestly, I'm here to try to show that even though these are non-meta champions, with skillful gameplay, you can still do decently well, right? I think last
That's what he claims,
season,
but I'm gonna be
yeah.
real with you guys. I'm not even gonna sweat it that much because Jay Will's just gonna go in and change all the champions anyway.
I mean, I'm
He's
not
just like,
changing. I'm
turns
not
out that
changing.
Kane can't cook that hard. I'm pulling him out.
I mean, he can't cook that hard. He's terrible. For invade, he did okay. But like even with amplified power, he still was hidden like a limp noodle. So, but it is what it is. So yeah,
Mhm.
man. If you guys want to start, we'll do a round of 5 each, so that way I can feel included a little more, and then yeah, you guys will choose the last 10. Sound good? So you guys will have 3 rounds of 5 and I'll have 2. Sound good?
Sure.
Sounds good.
Okay. Whomever wants to start, just go for it. I'm already cleared my deck. So guys, this is spoiler territory. I do have some showcases coming out real soon. So just keep that in mind. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you should probably leave now. But anyway.
Okay, maybe to make this easier, Truth, if you could maybe we could put all the tabs to acceptable yes, and then I can just be scrolling through. Maybe
Yeah.
that would help. Because then you'll get the non-metas and the borderline, but acceptables in one list.
Yeah. I just filtered to all my rank 4s on the screen for everybody. So
Okay, so that's gonna make this a little tough because I'm looking at the sheet. Hmm.
I sent you guys
Imagine
screenshots in our chat. You guys should have a screenshot of
Okay.
every
not being
champion.
prepared. Imagine not being
Okay.
prepared. This guy.
Let me hop over there then. My apologies.
No, you're good.
Yeah, but so I guess my question is, I'll let Truth go first then, because my question is, this filter of all your champs. I don't have a computer screen up like all the fancy Truth comics, so I can either look at the Discord or the spreadsheet. I can't do both
Oh
right
my
now.
goodness. He can't
Yeah.
imagine having one screen. What is this? Like 2015? Come on, bro. Come on. Okay. Okay. Well, with that said, I don't mind kicking off here. I was making some notes earlier. And so what I'm picking, was it 5 we said?
5.
Yeah.
We're going. So you and Alpha will both do 3 rounds of 5, and I'll only do 2. So basically, it's going to go
Okay.
you, Truth, and then it'll go Alpha, then it'll go me for 2 full rounds, and then the last 2 rounds will go you and then Alpha.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So I'll keep myself pretty balanced here. And I gotta show Jay Will some love because we both love this champ. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick off with Destroyer first.
Let's go.
He's gotta go into the deck. Yeah, you need to get me a Destroyer in there.
Yes, sir.
Um I think on the science side, I'm gonna go with Spider Punk. I picked him last time. I'm a punk fan.
Okay.
It's the more I've been looking at him, the more I want to rank mine up. I think from the mutant side, I'm just going through kind of my notes here. I'm gonna take all the good ones. I'm gonna make AFO pick worst champion. So I'm gonna take Sunspot.
Ooh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mr.
Let's get
Sunspot.
Sunny in there. Let's get some counters.
Where is Sunspot?
Um,
Where are you? Okay, got it.
on the cosmic side, I decided to go ahead and toss in Imperiosa.
Okay.
And we'll see how she does. I think she's gonna get kind of cooked to this meta. And I gotta throw in one more little bit of love. And again, if you guys haven't been keeping up on things, then cover your ears. Jay Will and I also overlap on another champion, so let's go to that tech class. And put that OG Star-Lord in the deck, bro. Let's go.
Hey, my man. All right, so that is, in fact, guys, a spoiler. I have a very interesting video that I think I told you about, Truth, that I will be doing. So
Mhm.
yeah, keep your eyes and ears peeled for that one. But at first, I gotta find him. Oh, there he is. Okay, got him.
All right, I'm ready to go with my 5.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna try and supply Jay Will with some defensive prowess so that he has something to put down. And so I'm not gonna necessarily go by class balance. I'm just gonna pick 5 champs.
That
The
works for
first
me.
one I'm gonna put in there is Jessica Jones.
Okay, JJ. She should be towards the. Okay, got her.
Okay. I'm also gonna throw him an attacker, Mordo. I think Mordo's still available.
Mortal
Mhm.
He
should
was
be
one of the
available.
rank ups.
Yes,
He was one
Mortal.
of the rank ups from the last meta video, so I stole that one from Truth. The next one that I wanted to put in was I see Frankencastle here. I think he's an interesting, cool champion. I want to see him cook a little bit, so
Okay.
put him in there.
All right, so he'll be forever banned.
And then what was that? 3. I'll give you
Mhm.
another attacker here. I don't know if this is more spoiler alert, but I see that OG Scarlet Witch sitting there.
Oh yes,
And I want to
sir.
see her.
That is definitely
I want to
spoiler
see her in
territory.
there.
Spoiler
I want to see her
territory.
in there cooking.
Yeah.
And last, but certainly not least, a champ that probably would have saved me a death this year had I had him ranked up. I-Bomb, my only
Hey,
death of the
let's
season
go.
because I didn't have one of those champs ranked up.
Okay.
Should I have him, I would be deathless. So, as an ode to I-Bomb, welcome to the deck, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, thank you. And yeah, they were both spoilers, but for 2 different reasons. But yeah, that's all good. So, I think for my 5, I'm gonna go with Falcon, because the options are more limited this time. So I gotta have my old tried and true. I'm gonna do Black Widow Clairvoyant, who is a spoiler alert, by the way, guys. Because she can do like a 46K for sure.
You enjoyed those
Trust.
46 days.
She
Way to
can
put
do a
your deck, by the
46K,
way.
I promise. Another one that I'm going to do is actually, I don't know. Is Piggy's acceptable? Yeah, I don't remember.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir. All right, we're gonna go for Piggy. I will be going for Super Scroll.
Look at that.
Yeah, I got to put the Super Scroll in there, and I'll be going for Ice Baby. Ice Baby.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was worried you were going to do that. You're taking some of the ones I have pre-selected here.
I
So that
mean,
means I
I
got to
don't
go
remember
Penny
the list because
Parker
I'm
and go
bouncing
over.
back and forth myself, so I'm trying to go off of like memory.
Yeah. Well,
That's
you mean
cool.
you're struggling with screens and memory? Is that what's happening right now?
I don't understand what you guys are talking about.
Well, I just don't want to bounce back and forth too much while I'm in this screen, so it's all good. You guys can just tell me if I'm wrong. It's okay.
All right.
All right, sir.
Okay.
All on you.
Yeah, now if I'm not mistaken, you only have one tech champ in your deck right now. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
That is accurate. Let's get a little bit of rounding going on here. If he even has tech champs to throw in. No,
I
he
do.
does. That's one for my list. Go ahead and throw Penny in there for me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Say
we'll go
less.
Penny Parker. I'm
Okay.
a little jealous of that rank 4 Penny Parker. Let's see. What else do I want to throw in there? None of that's good. I don't like it. I don't like it. All right. Go ahead. And you're doing this last meta, but I'll let you do it again. Go ahead and throw that Spidey Supreme in there.
Yes. Spidey Supreme's gonna cook this meta. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm not giving you Spiral because she's just a no-go.
It's okay. I'll
But
do it
I'll
myself.
give you.
Thanos.
Yeah, I know you will. I know you will. Why don't you go ahead and throw that Glizzy in there, that lizard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Lizzie, I'm not
so
mad at it.
Big Lizzie, baby.
Okay.
Lizzie G.
Okay.
Uh, I don't want to give you too many cosmics. It's not a good cosmic meta. You've already got yourself in there. I will never pick that champion. Ooh, you know what? This guy, I'm gonna have you put him in because he's sneaky. Actually, he's sneaky good in this meta. Count Nefaria.
Ooh, okay. He could steal the
Yeah,
power game,
he's
right?
he can steal the. He does that, and he's also he's anti-mystic, so he kind of goes both ways.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's
I
nice.
like that.
And then the last one I'm gonna have you toss in is a Tuma.
Big Tuma. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it. All right, Afo, what
All
you got
right.
for me, sir?
It's back to me.
It is back to you,
Yep.
sir.
And where does that bring you? Back to me. Okay, so here we go. I'll with my other pick from last time, Weapon X.
Okay, let me get
Figuring
to
he'll just be a catch-all there. I don't know exactly what we're going to use him for, but I'm sure you'll find a reason.
Okay.
To help in the tech area, we'll go with Big Pun, Punisher 2099.
Oh, okay. Big pun. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I don't remember if we said Shang-Chi was acceptable. Is he still acceptable?
As far as I
Can
can
we
tell.
double check that?
Yeah, he's still acceptable.
Okay, let's put Shang in there.
Yes, sir.
The reason why, by the way, is I feel like the way the meta for VT is shaping up is that science champs, people are trying to make their science champs excel so that you can't use your mystics. So we just toss you a little bone there for Shang-Chi to cook.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so that was 3.
That's 3.
Let's get Korg in there. Let's get Big Korg.
Dang it, you took my pick.
Yeah, that's how these things tend to go, my friend. And lastly, but surely not least, now this one was one of the discussion points. Did we let Gentle through or not?
We did.
We did. Yes.
All right, let's get my boy Wakanda Forever. I've never said a bad thing about Gentle in my life. Gentle in there.
The C
right
student,
there.
the C student.
Oh, hey, Alpha, what rank is your Gentle?
Yeah, yeah.
Just a quick question. I was just curious.
Okay.
All right. He's acceptable.
He's acceptable. I love it. I love it. Okay, so this is actually my final 5. So I got to make it count because I don't know where you guys is going to go with this. So you guys can say whatever, but this is what I'm going with. Prowler is number 1. We did say Prowler was acceptable.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
So we're going to go for Prowler. I'm going to go for my Killmonger. So that's 2. Is Maestro still good or no?
Yeah.
Okay, Maestro. Okay, Maestro's going to be number 3.
I think he's acceptable. I wouldn't say he's good, but that's a different conversation for a different time.
Since we have not, since this is a T to be determined champion, I can technically put him on my deck, and I'm absolutely going to, and that's going to be Valkyrie. Yeah. I mean, it's to be determined. So now we'll have the data after this, and then I'm going to grab Spiral
after your first stream. We will have determined after your first stream. I'll be here to determine.
And
tomorrow.
my last pick is definitely going to be Spiral since she's acceptable for now. So I had to beef up my deck real quick because I need some people to use.
All I have to say to that is boo. That was such a disappointing stretch of champions.
Yeah. I'll probably never get to choose 2 of those again. I'll probably not.
I just want to warn you, J. Will, that we are getting into the the part of the barrel that's harder to choose the apple from, and you're gonna end up with some odd men out.
Yeah, I know.
Or women.
Yeah, that's exactly why I had to. That's exactly why I had to beef up the deck while I could. So I'm ready for it.
All right, Truth.
All right, I'm ready to do this thing. We're gonna kick off the last round. I think this is my last round here. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, you both get 5 more.
Off the last round with Dust.
Okay.
Oh, my
Not now.
girl.
Right from,
Where is
snap
Dust?
it right from under.
Where is she? I don't see Dust. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm overlooking her. Okay, I got her. Sorry. Go ahead.
No problem. Now we got to make sure that my man's got some counters to those mutant champs. So why don't you go ahead and just throw Kang in that deck?
I knew he was gonna do it. I knew he was gonna do it to me. I knew you were gonna do it to me. That's fine. He's in.
And get Kang in that deck. Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
make sure that gets done. Let's see, what else do we have here? What else do we have here? We gotta get you at least one more cosmic. You don't have a ton of cosmic action here. You
I
already
have
got that.
3 cosmics technically.
You have 3 cosmics in your deck right now. So let me go ahead. I'm gonna throw that big Satiator in there, just so we have a little bit of sadness in
Yeah.
the deck. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh,
Uh-huh.
felt that
Oh
one.
yeah. Yeah, I know it makes me big sad too, but that's just how the cookie crumbles.
Okay.
Okay, let's go ahead and throw another J Will favorite in there. And why don't you put that Civil Warrior in there for me?
Okay. Silver Warrior
Oh.
is in there. All right.
Yeah, gotta make sure you can counter those mutants. And
He's killing. He didn't even give me OG Iron Man. You gave me Silver Warrior.
Hey, hey,
Nice.
hey! You're probably gonna end up getting him. Just relax. I still
Yeah,
need
so-
5 choices.
yeah, he still needs 5 choices over there. And why don't we haven't put this champ in yet, but I got a lot of love for this champ. I think he's underrated. Why don't you put Anti-Venom in there for me?
AV? Oh, dude, I love
Nice.
AV.
Yeah.
Let me find him
let's
though.
put-
Where's AV at?
I'm trying to dupe that champion right
Okay,
now.
there he
I need
is.
to dupe me an Anti-Venom.
No, AV's good. I like AV. AV's great. Okay. AFO, the final 5, sir. The final 5.
The final 5, which it's a very it's a pretty limited 5 here. So, we'll go ahead and grab that OG Iron Man,
Okay. Got it.
and I think after that, you're just not gonna like me.
Oh boy.
I'll give you one more. Let's
Okay.
go for. I think we said Nimrod is still available.
Nimrod is available. Yes.
Okay, so you can grab your Nimrod.
Okay, we have 8 techs. That's great. we're good for tech now.
It's 40. It's 40 champs. You don't want tech? I'm sorry. You can go ahead and grab Danny Moonstar.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, I mean you didn't want any more tech. You didn't want any more tech, so let's see what you're working with here. Okay, how about Titania?
Yeah. No.
Grab the
Yeah.
OG wrestler. Let's get her in
Okay.
there.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Okay. Okay, it's Truth's favorite champ. Like I said, we're at the bottom of the barrel. Mr. Zemo himself.
I figured you were going to pick
Let
him
him in.
earlier. I was like, why isn't he picking Zemo yet? I figured you were going to pick him earlier.
Yeah, because I was between him and Stellar Forge Star-Lord.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm
Trying to
surprised you
figure out
guys
which
didn't
one of
say
those he's doing.
Negasonic. That was the only surprising one. But everything else checks out.
Well, I think I have one more pick, don't I?
You do not. That is technically
Okay, I'm out
for
of them.
you.
Good job. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So Negasonic is there if you after you're done and you're trying to recover from what just happened to you. You can just try and get Negasonic in there for Danny or something like that. I know. I'll be waiting on the DMs,
No, it's okay. We're going to use this deck the whole way. I'm going to just cry while I'm doing it. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard the men. This is the deck that I will be trying to use. I think it has a good balance. There's some decently well champions that are catered to the meta that will help me. And then there's some god awful champions in there. We're going to leave that up to your own interpretation of who's good and who's bad. But yeah, man, that's it, man. I appreciate you guys so much for helping me with this list of champions and helping me create this. Do you guys have any final words that you want to say to everybody? I'm going to save this, by the way, so therefore it's saved.
No, I appreciate the opportunity again. I appreciate these gentlemen for taking the time with me and working through this thing. I'm glad that the people have been receptive and have enjoyed the challenge so far. And I encourage any and all who want to participate in this or some other version thereof. Right? It's not the first time we've done this type of like, hey, let's make a unique deck for BGs. To grab a copy of the sheet, I'm going to work on locking that down so it can be made accessible to you guys without getting screwed up. And go build yourself a non-meta deck. Have some fun. It's more to life than winning and losing in BGs. So try to enjoy the journey and have a good time with it.
I concur. Afo?
No, it was fun. Thank you guys for having me, of course. And I'm excited to see the streams and the gameplay and the fun. And want to see Danny. I want you to use Danny on Nick Fury. I'm waiting for it.
All right, guys, here's
Thanks.
my promise to you. I promise this will be the deck with no changes that I will use. Now, I can't promise you I can cook with this deck. That I cannot promise, but I will try my best. I will try to beat my last record. I believe off the top of my head, I went 30-19, if I'm not mistaken. And we will be going day one. That's where the biggest competition will be. So we will be jumping into day one. I would encourage you guys to do it day one because it will be exponentially harder to go against the tryhards than it would be to go again on like day 5, right? Very different competition by then. But yeah, this has been a blast and enjoyable, and I can't wait to see how this plays out after I get done with Coliseum tomorrow. So that's going to do it. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to not only myself and Jabari and follow us on Twitter, but please, please, please do the same for Truth and Afo. Truth does do YouTube a lot, and Afo sometimes does YouTube when he feels like it. But either way, show them some love because we try to show you guys all the love with doing all this extra work for you guys. So that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.